Welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining. It's September 10th, 2025. It is Wednesday. What we're looking at, the bulk that is moving the markets today, are the cuts that are expected for next week. And this is going to push inflation along with a couple of other factors. We'll cover all of that. It is Discord Day, so let's get started with what's going on in these crazy markets. Now we've got the fear greed meter is full into neutral at the moment. We've got a lot of the sentiment dismal numbers for the real economy, but we've got at the same time the stock market booming all-time highs for a lot of the asset classes. So while this seems to not make sense on the surface, it does if you want to shift out of a dying asset, which is fiat currency. So with this, we're looking at the 10-year yield. It has dropped a bit, gaining back a little strength at that support, right around 4%, just above. So 4.096. Relative strength of the dollar still below 98. So other currencies will balance this out because this is, again, relative strength, not real strength. Real strength dropping as inflation grips pricing. So this also includes assets. Cryptocurrencies up on this, as well as also looking for an alternative to this system. Now, Dogecoin, interestingly, is down this morning, and they are starting with their first trading of the ETF this morning. So that one hitting a bit weak. With stock market hit all-time high yesterday after this dismal jobs number. I'll talk about that in a moment. Now, the futures are saying this could continue as there's still a bit more of a push. They're pricing in much more than the cuts, pricing in now almost a double cut of 50 points for next Wednesday when they meet. Now, Gov Lisa Cook staying on for now, and she will be voting with that rate cut very likely. So the daily driver, inflation numbers, PPI, we've got the yield on the 10-year popping and relative strength of the dollar dropping. This is good for equities, also stocks. So the economy created 911,000 fewer jobs than they had reported. Now, the question is this a Doge hit? Because they are about to expire this month, actually, but more towards the end. So out of these numbers, only 31,000 were reported government jobs lost. So out of this, the public sector, supported by the private sector, is still massively distorted. 911 paying into the system, 31,000 were the public sector. So that cannot continue. It's not sustainable. The unemployment rate jumps to near 4-year high. It's much higher than what they're reporting. The reported number is much lower than actuality. They're still saying just about 4%, 4.5%. It's more than double in reality. Along with that, we also had Coca-Cola just announced that they're going to be closing down a factory and mass layoffs. Now, they're one in the front of another line that is going to continue with unemployment. It's not just the United States, but globally. We'll talk about that in a moment. Rate cut next week is fully priced in now, plus some, and it's going to continue a little bit. So next week could be sell the news event, and we're getting a couple of warnings about that. Kind of agree with that. They're saying incomes rose and poverty fell last year. That's not actually true. Incomes did rise, but poverty grew because inflation outpaced the incomes rising. So they're going to pay you more, but not enough to pay the increase in pricing that is happening from all of this inflation. We've also got a looming government shutdown coming up. They've got to add in all of their last minute things that they want to support to maintain votes. It's going to be huge because midterms coming up. And they're going to threaten us. So this is going to be massively inflationary as well, of course. Treasury investors ramping up bullish positions before CPI data. We're getting the data numbers 8:30 this morning prior to the market open, probably by the time before you're able to see this, but not before I put it out. So I don't have the numbers yet. We've got tariffs kicking in on India. That's much more inflation coming in. Oil is finally getting support and about to rise. As this rises, this also increased costs, increased energy for production, more inflation. Last note, Israel hit Doha yesterday, targeting Hamas. The leaders, it had to be with approval. It was a precision strike that could only be carried out with the help of the United States and also not a lot of backlash from the Qatari government. So that says that it was indeed allowed. Calendar. So this morning we're getting PPI, but the preferred gauge comes out tomorrow morning prior to the market open CPI. So position your portfolios accordingly. We are getting initial jobless claims. It's not looking like it's going to be a very good day tomorrow. Market bits for specific stocks. Little bit of news here. Oracle jumped because they have a bullish outlook that they said that they're going to look forward to. They've got a lot of orders through the Stargate project, but not looking that they had to cut 4,000 jobs to cut the bottom line in order to hit those targets. So again, more unemployment. Klarna IPO is way overpriced. They're even admitting so. This is a buy now, pay later company. So, what happens when people stop paying on these? We've discussed this for a while. Novo Nordisk, another one. They were the one that came out with all of the weight loss products, cutting 9,000 jobs and also cutting their profit forecast because nobody's going to be caring about weight loss if they can't eat. Staffing crisis at the BLS, now over a third of their leadership jobs now vacant. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, and they can't even see it for themselves. So, with all of these numbers coming out, it's going to grow, probably still a little bit more, double. Now, Mercor, I want to bring up this company. This is Peter Thiel backed, along with a couple of his college buddies, new company. And what they are doing is they are artificial intelligence trainers that are outsourcing, but their customers for the outsourcing of this higher end artificial intelligence trainers include Meta, Google, Amazon, as well as X. So these people from this company are training how artificial intelligence will go forward. You have to think about that for a moment. Their opinions, their, if you will, overviews will inadvertently be put into all of these major artificial intelligence providers, if you will. So, one to watch here, just to for both fronts, not just the direction it's heading, but also because I expect this to be a larger company coming out soon. We've also got energy company Cheniere up on a liquid natural gas deal with Turkey. Now, looking forward, canary in the coal mine, China consumer prices fall the most in 6 months. They're in a deflationary spiral. They're looking for funding from Russia, and the United States is not too far behind. Now, that being said, with China, Pakistan, if you don't know, have had mass surveillance of their own citizens. They're not civilized like the United States and use our buddies to do it for us through Five Eyes. Instead, they do it themselves and they use Chinese tech. So I just thought I would bring that up. So, a lot on the geopolitical front that is going to affect a lot of what's going on. Gazprom boss from Russia warning the EU to prepare for what he's saying a cold winter. Now, they are talking about sanctioning Russian energy, and that's their main source. So, if they sanction it, they're only raising prices on themselves. So, we'll see how this comes out. Paired with this, they're admitting German unemployment has hit a 10-year high. So, they're not alone. This is going to expand with unemployment rates, inflation to continue, and it's not a very good outlook. Yet at the same time, stocks are soaring, and this is because people want their money out into other things and don't know what to do. They are afraid to buy gold at these high prices, which are set for a bit of a pullback. And when they do, that's an opportunity, in my opinion. And if they not financial advice, you've got to do your own research. Now we've got Poland summoning the Russian envoy after this drone breach over the ground. They shot down a few drones, they said, but the allies, that includes all of NATO, have to protect the airspace after these violations. So the world is in a little bit of turmoil, as you can say, geopolitically. There are a lot of things that can happen. We know the goal and where they're headed. So if you just want to position yourselves, I think this is, out of all this darkness, is exceeding opportunity on the horizon. And if you are aware that this is all coming in, don't be afraid of this. This is just the shift to the next general opportunity of a lifetime. So, with all of this, I wish you a wonderful trading day. Thank you all for being here. And until I see you again, my friends, resist.